You're obviously now 4 and a bit years into your 5-year plan. So how closely have you followed it, and how close are you to realising the objectives for the 5-year period?
Actually, funnily enough, in some respects, I mean, and COVID isn't a good thing in any shape or form, but it's like every crisis, it's also an opportunity. So, I mean, basically, what we committed to do, it was relatively simple. We said there were three things we were committing to do to ourselves as an organisation, and we expressed that as being, relevant, modern, and diverse. That was because, if you're going to be the professional body for a sector and for society, you've obviously got to reflect that sector and society. And then we said, probably more importantly, what are we actually going to do for the profession? And again, we said three things. So we said, relevant learning, so not just learning, but relevant learning. Engage membership, so not just growing our membership numbers, but more importantly, the level of engagement we have with our membership. And insightful leadership, because there's lots of bodies around, there's lots of think tanks, and there's the regulator, there's government departments, so there's no point in us just being another talking head for the sake of it. Obviously, there are things that we have to pick on that are likely to make a difference. So as we said, it's the insightful bit is the important bit. So those were the three things. And I think, funnily enough, the modernisation programme, COVID has probably helped us, because a chunk of that was the concept that, the CII is not a building or a location. It's actually a bunch of people that do stuff. And also that we would be able, because we're an international organisation as well as a UK organisation, that we would be able to kind of work anytime, anywhere, I suppose is the right way to put it. We've made a lot of progress with that when we sold our heritage building and moved out about 3 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And that meant we had to operate in a very different way, because we knew we wouldn't ever have a huge building like that again to be working with. So we were, I would have said we were 70% confident that we could work anytime, anywhere. And then along came COVID, and actually within, a week, we had everybody working anytime, anywhere. So, actually that work had really stood us in good stead. The two things that I would say we were probably a bit caught out by, not deliberately, because we were working on them, but just the timing. From an exams perspective, this is qualification, not learning. But from an exams perspective, we were still very dependent on physical locations. So when you do your multiple choice exams, or you do your written exams, they still take place largely in a physical centre. So obviously, with the government closing all locations, that was like, so we did have to cancel our April exams, which obviously we wouldn't have wanted to do. But fortunately, we've been able to sort of start reopening, or the centres have started reopening. But we've also put in place remote invigilation. So, for the future, we're very hopeful we'd never be in that position again. And the other thing is that obviously, if you're a membership organisation, a lot of the concept of membership is also around events, physical CPD, conferences, all of that stuff. And although we were working very hard on producing a kind of parallel digital ability, we definitely were not thinking that we would need to replace the whole of our physical event schedule with remote ways of doing things. But so again, COVID was a real sort of pencil in our back to kind of get on with some of that stuff as well. So horrible, but at the same time, sometimes these things can be a catalyst for making you get on with stuff. So
I think you're absolutely right. I think the catalyst has been globally to push the world into the 21st century from a corporate perspective, I suppose.